All right, for the hair, blonde hair, we are going to start, because it's white, we're working on white. We will have to start with burnt umber. This is burnt umber, and this is yellow ochre. And then we will highlight slowly with cadmium yellow, light, mixed with yellow ochre, and then we will add a bit of white to this combination for the last step. So we need dark base so we can see the yellow when we put it there. And burnt umber is the perfect color. It's not too dark. It's not black. And
did you say you mixed yellow ochre with that too?
No.
Just burnt umber. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just burnt umber.
Okay.
And I'm working with the same movement of this is a small bright brush. Now I'm going to take round small brush and I'm going to put it here. Try to get some detail going. So I'm painting with the same movement of the head. So if it's kind of round, I'm going with the same, although we're not going to see it, but it's always better to do that instead of painting it flat in a different direction. I think her hair is up in the reference.
Yeah, because she has long hair. No.
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yes, it's up. It's too small for us to show it. That's, well, we could. Do you want to do that? Do you want to show it up? Or just kind of?
Whatever you think is best.
I think we should keep it that way because we don't want to deal with, oh, you know what? Once we start highlighting, we'll see. We'll decide. Right, next layer. Next layer, I'm going to push this up so you can see what I'm doing when I'm mixing my colors. So I took yellow ochre and I'm putting in it cadmium yellow light. I don't want to highlight yet, the strong highlight, not yet. And I'm going to take white to tone it down because this is really yellow right now. So it becomes, it will look too yellow if you put it on. You want it to be kind of yellow ochre mixed with cadmium yellow light and white, but not too light, not yet. Okay, so now we'll do a test. We'll test it and see. Okay, I'm testing it on this. See, that's too yellow now. So what I'm gonna do is take a bit of burnt umber, put it in. Ah, that's much better. So it needs burnt umber in it. Perfect. Okay, let's do that. It should dry darker. So now, because I'm highlighting, I really have to pay attention to the actual movement of the hair. So let's take it from here. And because it's going to dry darker, it gives me room for more highlights, because I need to see those strands. And if it's too highlighted, it's too much white, you're not going to see those strands. They disappear. Okay. If we're doing her hair up, then my brush strokes should go this way.
Yes, that's what. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing her hair up, now I'm doing just simple short hair. And that's awesome, because I really want to see those strands large, not small, not tiny. We're not there yet. We're still highlighting medium tone, so we can still use large brush strokes. It doesn't have to be tiny little strands, not yet. All right, it's great. It's awesome. Okay. Add a tiny bit of white in here. Highlight this with more white. I'm bringing in a bit of yellow ochre because the white is a bit too light. I'm gonna try not to highlight the back too much. All right. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush right now. And I'm going to take more white. Wet my brush. I'm bringing in tiny bit of more of the yellow ochre in here into the white. Okay, let's try. So I'm going to try to catch some light, and light usually, let's say it will be this part of the head where the skull is higher. Let's take, this is more of the yellow ochre in here. I'm adding a touch, a bit more yellow ochre. Burnt umber. Mix it into that light combination with the using, when you use a canvas, because the canvas surface is not flat, you might need to go over it a couple of times. Okay. All right, back to the highlight. It's really important to use a very small brush, round brush. Are you able to find those brushes at the stores, at the art stores? You know, like small, tiny ones. Is that happening, or are you finding it hard to find?
Not really. I went to Desserts yesterday and I did get one, but it's short-handled. I couldn't find anything long-handled that was small enough. That's okay.
Yeah. Now I'm adding more white to the same combination, and I'm going to, the more white I add, the shorter. Because when you look at hair and you see that shiny part, the shiny part is very short. It's not long. The light on that part is strong, but short. It's looking too light on the monitor. It's not that light in here. You will see it better when I send you I'll send you the reference picture. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry and I'll adjust. I'll adjust the color and the highlights. So fix this a bit right now. This is just white right now, just nothing else but white. And again, because it's just white, my brush stroke is really short to give it that really shiny look. I'm gonna zoom out a bit, maybe you can see it better. Yeah. It's darker here. It's more yellow. Not yellow, I mean like yellow ochre, like a light yellow ochre in here. It's washed out on the monitor. Darken a bit the back because I don't want to get that highlight all the way to the back. So I'm taking burnt umber, mixing it with the yellow ochre. Okay, so I'm mixing now more highlights of yellow ochre and white and some burnt umber. I didn't put any yellow in there, like any yellow, cadmium yellow light, because it's looking a bit too yellowy when I'm doing this. So I prefer to leave it just kind of with the yellow ochre for this stage, yellow ochre, white, and if I need to darken, I'll just add burnt umber. So now I'm adding burnt umber to this, and I'm just going to do this part down here, because you know, hair when it goes down, even if it's blonde, it will look darker at the bottom. The strong highlight, the strong light is going to be up here, but the rest will look darker. And you need that contrast between the light and dark, so you can see the strands of hair. Okay, so now it's good. I'm adjusting the value. I'm going to adjust the value here too. Okay, good. Now let's take the highlighted part, take the light color, white, yellow ochre, touch of burnt umber in it to tone it down. And let's highlight this one more time. Now, I'm going to take white. My brush has paint on it, but I'm going to add white, and I'm going to come here and put some, enhance that shiny. I'm just going back and forth between light and dark, and I'm just adjusting the highlight and the values. In anything you paint, if you have your medium, light, and dark, you have your dark, medium, and light, you're good. Okay. Right. Right, for the skin tone, I have yellow ochre, white, cadmium red light, and Naples yellow. So we're going to do a very, very light color. Now, a pink color. Now, if you look at her face, you will see she has a bit of dark in here where the cheekbone is, and it's darker right there. We are not going to go into that detail too much, but we're going to use some of it. And we're going to make the face very light. So again, because we don't want to go into detail. So to do the face, I'm going to take white, lots of white. Wet your brush. Push in cadmium red light. You get a very pink tone here. Really kind of pink. Now, that pink will do if you like it and you want it to be that pink. But for skin tone, I would take a tiny bit of Naples yellow now and put it in. That is a really good skin tone now. That's perfect. That's a pink, but it's toned down closer to our skin. Yellow ochre can be used as well, but because we're doing a very, very light skin tone and we don't want to go into detail, these three colors will be enough. White, red, Naples yellow. Naples yellow is like replacing kind of the yellow ochre in here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to take this color, put it in here. Now, I am hoping, and it will, dry darker because I need to highlight some areas. I rather highlight than darken. So if I start with the dark base, that's good. Now, in the reference, when you look at her feet, you will see that there is a dark shadow in here and a dark shadow right there where her heel is. Some at the bottom of her foot there and in between her toes. I'm not going to do the toes the way it is. It's too much, but I'm going to take, to do the dark, I'm going to take red and yellow ochre. Take a bit of yellow, Naples yellow, put it in. That will still be a dark, but more like a skin tone dark. It's a bit red in the, oh, it's too dark. It's a bit red in the picture, I'm doing this now because it's wet. My brush is, my brush is wet. It has water on it, so it's easy for me to blend.
Did you already put the skin tone on the foot?
Yes,
okay.
I did. Yes. I'm gonna put some at the bottom of her foot. The reason I'm doing this is just because this is just a suggestion of the big toe right there. The reason I'm doing this is just because these highlights, or darks actually, I should say darks, they help with the, they help making her feet look smaller, because her feet are in proportion to her, well, to her rest of her body, but because she's sitting in a certain way, the angle is makes her feet look bigger. Now, on that too, in the reference, what I'm seeing a highlight right there, and I'm seeing a highlight right here. If you can see, right there. See that highlight right there, and a bit over here. So all I'm going to do is take white, push the white into the skin tone, and come over here. Only in that area. That's it. I'm not going as dark as what I see in there. I'm making it slightly lighter than what I'm seeing in the reference, just because the reference is printed on a paper, and with the ink and print, with print and ink and everything, it changes. Okay, now next, second one. We'll go back to the face very soon, as you know, as soon as we finish the legs. Now, we have to remember, this is an illustration. It's not realistic. So I know it's very tempting to make everything look realistic, but really it's an illustration. So it's easier to paint. I can always, later on, if I want to adjust anything with the toes, like the shape of the foot with the toes, I can go back to the tile and adjust from negative painting from the outside, instead of making her foot wider. And that's probably what I'll do. I need to cover some of the pencil marks too, some of it, not all of it. Okay, now let's go back to the dark part that I've mixed here, which is, again, I've mixed the yellow ochre with cadmium red light to get a dark skin tone here. And then I added Naples yellow to highlight it a bit. And I'm gonna okay. Go back to highlight and blend. Not highlight, it's the actual color of the skin tone. I'm not highlighting yet. I'm just blending the darks. Okay, go back here. Get some more darks because the first layer was a bit too dry, so it looks choppy. And make it a tiny bit more flowy. Try to follow what I'm seeing in there in the reference. See, I would adjust the toes from the outside. Okay, now let's take white into that light mixture, more white, and give the skin some a shiny look.
Looks great.
Okay, face is dry. So with the face, I'm just gonna add white now to skin tone, same skin tone. I'm gonna add white and highlight only where I see there's a highlight on the reference. So highlight will be right here where the cheekbone is, right next to her eye, her nose, and a little bit right there. I'll start with that. If I find that I need to highlight more, I'll do that, but I really want to keep it simple. Because I know how easy it is to go into detail when you're painting. So I'm taking white, just white. And I'm gonna put it here for the nose. Slight curve, very slight curve. This is a curve too. It's like a, now. I'm gonna take the dark skin tone I have here and just to be able to see the nose a little bit more. I'm gonna darken this area a tiny bit and get rid of that pencil mark. Soften it actually, then getting rid of it. Soften it by using the darker tone. Go back to white. The bottom of the nose, or the shape of the nose at the bottom part, is a triangle. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just mixing some darks in here. Okay. It's actually a triangle that goes in this way. Like this. So this is the nose. These are the I can never remember the name of this part. Okay, and then the eyes are here. So the bottom part, if you're doing the bottom part of the nose, if you do this triangle, you're good. You don't need more than that. Right? just like that. Because this, you know what this is? This is, here, I'll show you. I'm just gonna paint over it, or I actually not paint, draw over it. This is the bottom of the nose, and the reason it is like that, let's see if I can get that. The reason it's like this is just because the nose is casting a shadow over the skin, the rest of the part here. So you have the mouth, let's say put the mouth right there. So you have the nostrils right there. And the reason, because I don't want to put nostrils, because if you put nostrils on this, it will look like 2 dots. It doesn't look good on this, that small. So what you want to do, instead of putting nostrils, you put the shadow of the nose over and no nostrils. That way you don't see 2 dots, but you see a shape of the nose. It's just an illusion of the shape of the nose. Okay, this is way too small to put 2 dots in there. And it doesn't really look that great. I would rather darken this with maybe adding a touch of burnt umber in here to make it darker, than put 2 little dots for the nostrils. So this triangle right there that you see is the shadow of the nose, because the nose casts a shadow over this area, upper lip, because it's higher. Because it's higher, it catches light right here, and it casts a shadow down here, down here. All of this part, let me find you one that has, oh, this guy here. Oh my God, look at that. Look what he did. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see? Okay, so what he did is, the nostrils are right there, right there. So because the nose is higher and there's light on her face, her nose is going to cast a shadow over the upper lip. And that's what you're painting. And that's what gives the illusion of a nose. I'm going to try to get you more to see it in a actual picture, not a painting. The nose, the bottom of the nose. Can you see it? Now in this picture, you see the shape of the nose, like you see a ridge right there, kind of a movement like that. But you see this right there. There's a triangle right there. So like if you look at this, like that. Okay, let me see if I can find you another one. I know there are a couple that are awesome. They look, you can see it very easily, and because of the light. Okay, this guy here, you can see the bottom of his nose is darker and is casting a shadow over this area right there. So an easy way of showing a nose without actually painting the nostrils is to actually paint the shadow of that nose over the skin, over the upper lip. You know, there's another model that I really like because he has the perfect face. I can't find it right now. I'll find it in a minute. So do I make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's highlight the face now because it's dark. It's dry, and we have to do the eyes. Good, right. Now, do her eyes and mouth. Okay, So I highlighted underneath her, this area here and the nose. I'll highlight it a little bit more later on. Let's do the mouth. So I'm going to take red and I'm going to put yellow ochre in my red. Naples yellow. So I want a skin tone that's darker, just a darker skin tone, but not too dark. So that's why I'm not putting, I'm just doing a reddish dark skin tone. Let's see. So if we do this, upper lip is always darker than the lower lip. You can make her smile a bit if you like. And I'm gonna add a tiny bit of white in here. Not too much, just a bit. Lower lip. So lower lip is lighter than the upper lip. And I like this dark upper lip. So I'm gonna darken a bit this part of the nose as well, just a bit. Even this is not necessary. That part here that I have, that's not necessary. So I can just kind of tone it down a bit. It's just too red. Okay, so eyes. Eyes, in the reference, she has black eyeliner. I'm gonna take brown, just I'm gonna do eyes and her eyebrows too. So I'm gonna take brown for now. And I'll see if I need to use black. I'm making my color, oops, just burnt umber. I'm making my color a bit more watery. I'm using a very fine line, very fine brush. Making sure it's on the same level. Yellow ochre. I'm gonna take some brown in here with the yellow ochre. And I'm gonna put her eyebrows. Very, very, very light pink. So skin tone, actually, not pink, skin tone. Because I need some in here and some in there to make her look like she's looking sideways. Okay. This is dark skin tone, kind of dark skin tone. And I'm just adding a bit of burnt umber in it. Just because this part is a bit too wide. So I'm going to darken this part a bit. No, that's too dark. All right, let's go back and put skin tone. Oh, I see. I think I know why. Because the in the reference, her neck is showing a bit. Makes it better looking. Okay. Let's see. Let's try. If it doesn't work, we'll just remove it. It's always like that. At the end, you really need to adjust a couple of things. I'm using brown and yellow ochre. Put some Naples yellow in it, just a bit, and then bring her hair down a bit. Okay. I'm getting more skin tone again, and then I just need some more light skin tone. Okay. So I really don't have to have a line that shows the eye all the way. This is, again, because it's an illustration. I really don't have to do that. Just a suggestion of the eye is enough. And it's easier to do. The shape of the eye. I need to look at it at the same time to show you. Like the nose, shape of the eye is a suggestion as well. So we usually, the shape, if you're looking sideways a bit, the eye will look something like this. Kind of. Okay, but with this one here, what we're doing is we're doing the same shape, but when mixing the whole thing together, like with the eye, with the iris and the pupil, you know, together. That's right. It's called pupil, right? Am I saying the right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm just doing a suggestion of the shape. So it's not straight. It's not like this, like that. It has a bit of a curve, very, very slight curve this way. And then you have the pupil here. Then you have a wide kind of line. And then don't connect them. Just bring your line over here, that just don't connect the bottom part with this here. It becomes too heavy, too strong. Just show a usually you'll have something like this, because that's so you'll have the eye will look like this. It's too small to show. So what we're doing is we're connecting, like we did with the nose. It's more like a movement than an actual eye. Let's darken her upper lip a tiny bit more. So I'm going to take red, put some brown in your red, and touch of Naples yellow in there. Because lips, the color of the lip is the actual color of the skin, but it's just darker. Now, because the eyes are so heavy, like so dark, I need to darken a bit the bottom of the nose and the upper lip to balance with the darkness of the eyes. Okay, that's it. Done.
Give her hand.
I'm gonna keep it just so it is nothing much. If you want, what you could do is darken tiny bit and make the show a bit of movement of the, if you want, the finger, because you're gonna see just one or two, just like that. See what I did? I just brought out a suggestion of one of the fingers. So it's not going straight. Just, we don't end up with a straight line. Again, this is an illustration. It's just a suggestion with illustration. Okay. I think her eyebrows should be a bit lighter. They're too dark right now compared to her hair. I'm going to highlight them a bit using yellow ochre, white, Naples yellow. Let's see. They don't match her hair. Okay. Sorry. All I did is I just put a layer over the brown of yellow ochre, white, and a touch of Naples yellow. Because I still want to see them, but you want some, they should match the hair, but at the same time you want to see them. So it's good that I had a dark or a brownish color underneath. So when I put the light color over it, I glazed the actual brown that it was there. I didn't cover it, I glazed it. So my color was a bit transparent, and that toned down the whole thing, toned down the eyebrows and brought them closer to the color of the hair. Now, the only thing I would do is go back here down at the bottom, take some of the colored, which is the color of the tile, yellow ochre. I'll try to use a tiny bit of burnt umber in there. Wipe my brush and come over here. Give that part. And again, I always, I just want to remind you, this is an illustration. With illustration, you don't get these details. That's the way it is with illustration. But just for us right now, I'm shaping the foot a little bit more. Suggestion of the toes. What I did is I used negative painting. Her toes in the reference are way bigger and higher, but I'm just going to keep them like that for now here. Every time I try to fix something, I ruin something else. Okay. Okay. That's good. I think her eyes, but that's okay. I mean, her eyes are dark, but that's okay. They blend with or they balance the dark of the chair. So I would even go black, but I don't want to go black. This is burnt umber right now. It's not black.
This looks nice. This looks nice.
I'll probably keep it just the way it is and not mess with it. Okay.